Better. We live, gentlemen.
Hey.
Welcome, man. I'm gonna just jump right into it, man. I just want to welcome everybody. As you know, What's in Your Glass has been my baby. Kind of started it in quarantine during the whole pandemic, and now we're here, being able to partner up with Wine Spectator and Coravin. But I'm honored to host this special night, man. This special episode of What's in Your Glass. I got a legendary group of athletes and industry executives. I want you guys to join me and welcome in. We got Hall of Famer Charles Woodson, Portland Trailblazers CJ McCollum, Milwaukee Bucks PJ Tucker, Coravin CEO and board member Chris Ladd, and Wine Spectator editor Mitch Frank. Let's raise a glass to that. Let's toast to that first. To everybody that's on here. Thank you guys for joining. Thank you guys for joining me on What's in Your Glass. Thank you so much for this special roundtable presented by Coravin and again Wine Spectator. Without further ado, I want to begin by just asking what's in everybody's glass. I'll start with let me see. CJ, I'll start with you. What's in your glass?
Well, thankfully, I got some good friends here who take great care of me. So I was fortunate enough to be able to enjoy this here from Napa Valley. But, I'm an Oregon guy at heart. So I got some Domaine Serene. I got some Stoller on tap. I got some Longolo. And, of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't pull out my own stuff.
Which you should. Which you should. Chris Ladd, what's in your glass?
So, Mello, I think before I get started, I really want to congratulate our host tonight. He had a major accomplishment in his career earlier this week. So cheers to our friend Carmelo Anthony on number 10 all time.
Yeah.
NBA scoring list. Well done. Phenomenal accomplishment. And I'm drinking a Heights Cellar 2018 Chardonnay at the moment. And then I've got some phenomenal Intercept wine behind me that was sent to me earlier today by our friend Charles. I've got some CJ Pinot Noir that I'm going to crack open in a little bit. So looking forward to hanging out with you guys.
Oh, so you got the whole shebang. PJ, what's in your glass? I know you went burgundy, PJ. What's in your glass?
You know I'm burgundy all day, Mel. Again, congrats to Mello. Big time, bro. From us being in Greensboro, North Carolina, and in the hotel, going to Waffle House, eating, to seeing you be able to accomplish this now, dog, years later. Congratulations, my guy. And in my glass right now, I poured a 07 Grands Chuzo DRC right now, and I also brought.
You bought more?
Sent over.
Was that a Magnum?
Yeah, this Magnum of Leclos, Louis St. George, Pere Roche, which is probably my favorite. My boy Thatcher just sent that over for me in a little shipment, so get into that too.
I like where you going, PJ. Mitch, what's in your glass, Mitch?
Well, also a shout out to you for number 10, because funny thing, when I was writing the article, I put in there you had just passed. This was back in February. I think you had moved into 13. And I said, don't worry, by the time we print it, he won't score enough to get up to 12. And you did. And now already you're at 10. You've made it irrelevant.
Motivated me, Mitch.
I am drinking Italy. I am drinking Michele Chiarlo. This is Barbaresco, right next to Barolo. Some Nebbiolo. And this is the 2016 Reina, single vineyard. So cheers all.
Cheers. Charles, on you, Charles. What's in your glass, Charles?
Well, for me, I went with, of course, I'm like CJ. I got my own stuff, man. So I got the Intercept red blend here. And then also, of course, exactly like you said, we got this beautiful Napa Valley wine here. All great things. So I'll be trying that as well. So that's what I got in the glass, man. And like everybody else, congratulations, homie.
Cheers, thank you. I'm actually drinking. I'm actually trying all great things too tonight. I mean, I guess this is just the this is the floor of the show, right? It's all great things. This is a lot of great people on this one show tonight. So I'm trying this out. They sent it over to me. I'll be letting you guys know what the taste profile is on that in a second as we get going. This is for everybody. Do any of you have vivid memories of your first real experience with wine? And what was your gateway to the world, and how do you end up with those bottles, with that glass tonight? We can start, CJ, you can start it.
Yeah, so my first time ever drinking wine was with my now wife back in college, and we had a very low level barrier of entry on the college budget. I think we tried a Merlot, and fast forward, I get drafted by the Portland Trailblazers. I come to Oregon, and I get exposed to volcanic soil. I get exposed to Bryant Creek, the Willamette Valley, and my actual first Pinot I ever had was from Walter Scott, and that's one of my favorite vineyards here in Oregon. And I think that changed my whole thought process on wine. What's acceptable, like in my household, shifted. I started putting my mom on, my dad on. I'm like, y'all have to try this red wine. Try it with steak, try it with this, try it with that. And I think that's what kind of evolved my love for it. In my pursuit of my wife, I kind of found a middle ground of something that you kind of never figure out, which is similar to like a woman in general. You never really figure them out, and wine is the same way.
Anybody else? Just jump in. We want to make this conversational. So
no, for me, I was fortunate enough, man, to spend a lot of time in Napa Valley as a young athlete. Being at the Raiders training camp was there in Napa, so I felt like I was really bombarded with wine, throughout my stay and my time there. And I just tried a lot of different things, man. But I always attracted to Robert Mondavi, because when I started in the business, my partner worked for Robert Mondavi at the time. So 98 Reserve, 2001 Reserve Cabernets from Robert Mondavi, were always big for me. And I remember scooping up, a couple of cases of each of those, and I still have some now in my cellar. So, my memories of getting into the wine is centered around Robert Mondavi, one of the pioneers of the Napa Valley. So, cheers to the late, great Robert Mondavi for putting his hooks in me, man, and getting me to drinking wine. So
is that you saying that you validated, right? You got validated early. Robert, he validated you early. You got stamped early on.
Real early, man. Real early in the game, man. And so many. The thing about wine, man, is you meet so many great people that, from that region who grew up in the wine world. Me, I'm coming in as a 21-year-old. I don't have a clue about wine. My memories of anything that dealing with an alcoholic beverage was, Boone's Farms, Old English,
right?
E&J, Hennessy. That's what we did.
Grandma, yay.
Yeah, I'm sure there was some families around where I grew up that drank wine, but we didn't drink wine. You know what I mean? So I got kind of just immersed in that culture, man. And people, in the wine world, the wine country, they just welcome you in, man, because they want more and more people to be exposed to it. So, Napa Valley, man, it's near and dear to my heart.
I'm jealous because you guys had training camp in Napa Valley. So
I'm sitting here like, yo. Wow.
And I took full advantage of it too.
Listen, I wish we had training camp in Napa Valley.
Oh, game over.
That'd be a tough training camp.
Chris, talk to me, Chris.
Mello, I think for me, the first time I went to Burgundy, my mind was just blown. I'd been to Napa, I'd been to Sonoma, but when you go to France and you spend time with these people that have worked these fields for 4 and 5 generations, and the perfection and the quality that comes out of it. I went there with a dear friend who's a master sommelier, who it's kind of like me trying to play one-on-one against you, Mello. Just you go to Burgundy with a master somm, and these guys are just so great at what they do. And my wine life changed forever on that trip. I was just exposed to just incredible people, as Charles said, incredible places, and just phenomenal wine. And if you guys haven't had a chance to get to Burgundy yet, I can tell, PJ needs to put it on his list if he hasn't been there yet. It's just a really cool place that produces some of the best wine in the world.
Mitch, yeah, I know you have a long history of wine, Mitch. So give us some insight.
I'll give you the quick version. Yeah, the first time actually I got the chance when I was about 15, 16, do a summer in England studying, and we traveled around Europe, and like a bunch of stupid high school kids drinking a lot of beer because they would let us in Europe. And then I was at a cafe in Rome, and somebody said, "Let's get a bottle of white wine," and it was just the local white wine, but with the food on an outside cafe and with people and the conversation, you realize why wine is so special. So I was into wine after that, especially after school. And then I was a political reporter for a while for Time Magazine. And I was looking for something new. And my wife said, that Wine Spectator, that's the one you read every month when it shows up. And now the people you meet in wine make it so amazing. A couple of you guys alluded to it. I met a lot of fascinating people in politics, but the people in wine have such passion and joy and such interest in what they do.
PJ?
Mine was definitely going to Burgundy. That's how I got immersed early. Knowing people, meeting the right people. My neighbor, who's now a great friend of mine from Phoenix, my Phoenix days, he's really immersed in it already, and he just put me on. I just went to his house one day. He asked me if I drank wine, and I ain't drink wine. Like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, I ain't drink no wine. Like, the wine I drank before was no real wine. So,
we had box wine, PJ. I remember.
Yeah, you already know. Mom's had the box wine for sure. So, when I went to his house, he gave me a glass. I had no idea what I was drinking. He poured me a glass of DRC. I had no idea what it was. But I knew it was nothing I had ever had before in my life. And from that day forward, it was over. Actually, that summer, after that season, I think it was 2013, he took me with him to Burgundy, and that changed my life forever. Going there, seeing the people, meeting the families, literally seeing them take care of those grapes like babies, like seeing the process, watching, all the workers being in there, being in these people's cellars, seeing some of the old bottles. It was amazing. And from that day forward, I just, jumped in, going to Chablis, just doing the whole French countryside. It was amazing. So I try to go whenever I get a chance. Hopefully here soon, this summer, I get a chance to go back.
I hope I get to go this summer too. I'll tell you that.
Hey Mel, we go together.
Oh, we get to go this summer for sure. My story is I actually started off with California wine, Napa wine, back in 05, 06. I didn't know what I was drinking. It was Etude, it was Dominus, it was, this was 2005. Now when I look back at it, I'm like, damn, okay, I did a good job of collecting these 2005 Napa wines, but I had no idea what I was drinking, what I was doing. I was just told these are the wines that you need to get. When I got traded to New York, that's when I got introduced to Petrus. And once I got introduced to Petrus, it was over. Like, it was no way I could go backwards. Petrus, the Margaux, and all of the first growths of the wine world. I created something. We should do something called 2-bottle Sundays, where you bring your invite, your entry fee was 2 bottles, your best 2 bottles out your cellar every Sunday, and you get judged on them, you get rated, blind tastings, and the winner is just bragging rights. You want bragging rights when you're in the wine business, to be known as the best seller or have the best bottle in the cellar. And I actually bought a champagne, right? I think I bought a 99. Or I think it was a 90 something DP Magnum Rosé, and that actually won the wine of the night. One time, I only won one time. I tell you that because they was big boys up there, so I had to learn. I'm just learning. DRC's flowing, the Petrus is flowing, the Margaux, Bordeaux, all that flowing. But once I got my taste in that, my wine journey just kind of took off, and here we are today talking about what's in your glass and our first, kind of vivid memories and experience of that. So that that was my story. I know that wine can be a tricky area to kind of navigate if you just beginning to learn, because you have so many questions about the industry, about the wine, about the region, or just what you want to drink for that night. So for someone that's starting out, anybody could just jump in and we could conversate about this. What are there any tips that come to mind that help each of you or each of us learn more about wine, help remember your favorites, or just aid you during the process of immersing yourself within this wine industry?
Yeah, I think, for me, I'll just jump in. I think, like, if you're talking to somebody about wine and they're just trying to, learn about it, my advice is always, man, to just try some different things. You know what I mean? Because wine can be intimidating. If somebody runs into you and all of a sudden you start throwing out these big names, where it's from, and, oh, man, you got to drink this one, then people automatically think that when they drink it, they have to like it. You know what I'm saying? But everybody's palate is different. So I think what you do is, like for me, a lot of people like to graduate from, something much sweeter, and then they kind of gradually, get into some other things at that point. So usually for me, I just, if I was going to pick a varietal for anybody to drink, I kind of go in between, and I go with, with the Pinot Noir. And then you just kind of work your way from there. You might tone it down and go a little bit below that, a little sweeter, but then you might go to something a little drier, but you kind of start there in the middle, man, and then just try. And then again, don't force it on them like you have to like this. People got to find their own palate. So that would be my advice to anybody who's thinking about getting into wine and start drinking wine. And don't think that the price means that it's a better wine. You know what I mean? I think that's important too. People think that they have to spend a lot in order to get the best wines. But you mentioned something earlier about, going over and seeing people work in the vineyards and the care that they put, into their product. There's a lot of people that are making great wines, great affordable wines, and it's great wine because they put that time into it, man. And wine is one of those things that you got to pay attention to the detail, and those people are paying attention to detail when they're taking care of those grapes, because that's the livelihood, man. So that's kind of my my spiel, whenever I'm talking to anybody about wine.
Yeah, if I can build on that, I would just add, I think what I tell people just starting out, there are no wrong answers.
Yep.
You gotta try a whole bunch of things. I've had people come up to me when they find out what I do, that I work with wine, writing about wine, and say, I apologize. I like cheap wine. I'm like, why are you apologizing? You know your palate. That's what you like. You found value. Drink what you like, and then just make sure you're not picking up a bottle of the same thing every time. Make sure you're trying something different. Make sure you're trying, a whole wide array. I mean, some people, they eventually, they find their corner and what they really like. Other people keep exploring, but there's no wrong answers. You just take the time to really explore and find what you like.
I get a lot of questions. Like, Melo, this is my first time. I'm at a restaurant. What should I get? What should I buy? Like, what region? What's sweet? What's dry? Like, I want a sweeter wine. And a lot of times, people don't know what they want until they taste what they want, or they have what they want. Especially when it comes to wine, you don't know all the varietals of the grapes. You don't know what your taste bud is until you actually put in some time to taste these different varietals. And then for me, like, Pinot Noir is very good. I actually love Pinot Noir now. CJ, thank you. Oregon, Portland, thank you. I actually love Pinot Noir, but to your point, Charles, I tell people all the time, go get a Pinot Noir. That's the easiest route to go. You can learn a lot by drinking a Pinot Noir. You know if it's sweet, you like it. If it's dry, you like it. It's gonna give you so many different aspects of your taste buds that you're gonna really know after that what type of wine you got. So it's always a question of what should I get? What should I buy? I'm at a restaurant. What's on the list? I'm gonna send you the list. I'm like, no, don't send me the list. Just pick something and try it. And I look at it like art. Everybody's not gonna like the same art or the same artist, right? It's to your eye, what you like in art. And I compare the wine, kind of industry the art industry and to artists, because you don't know, only you know what you like and what you love. I can't tell PJ that you should like something else. Only you know what you like. You might have a wine, you say, Melo, that's some bullshit. Like I don't want that, but I might love it. So it's really up to the individual. So I don't want nobody to feel afraid to talk about the type of wine that they like or the price of the wine that they like. So I just wanted to kind of just throw that out there.
Well, I think just to chime in a little bit, I had somebody hit me on Twitter probably 2-3 months ago, and they said, "Hey, Charles, why should I drink your wine over anybody else's wine?" And my simple reply to him is, "I can't answer that for you. You know what I'm saying? You got to try the wine, and then you tell me why you should drink it over any other wine." Like, I can't. It's not my job to force your wine on you. Yeah, I can talk about my wine and talk about the profile and what I see and what I feel, but man, it's up to the individual. And so I think when you put the power in their hands, then they start to feel a little more comfortable. But all of a sudden, when you feel like you have to be the expert and tell them, "Hey, you should try this," that's when people they're not being true to what they really like. They're being led a certain way. And in order to really find the varietal or the region that you like, man, it's about you trying it, and then you tell yourself if you like it and why you should drink it over anything else.
Yeah, I think there's two other things that I've experienced in my own journey. When you go out to a restaurant and you're experiencing different foods, ask the sommelier. They're trained experts to be in the restaurant to help you, guide you through this process, and share with them what you're eating, and ask them which wines you should drink. And if I could, Melo, if I can show a shameless plug here,
please
go out and get yourself a Coravin.
Before you show the plug, before you show the plug, let's just introduce the plug.
Yeah, right.
Chris, introduce the plug, Chris.
Yeah, so I run a company called Coravin. We're partners with Melo and Wine Spectator on tonight's event. Our founder invented a device that allows you to drink wine out of the bottle without pulling the cork. So there's a needle that goes through the cork, and you'll see I'm drinking Charles's Cabernet now, and you'll see there's nothing's coming out, and I've got some in the glass. So we give you the ability to drink wine out of the bottle without pulling the cork. So to Charles's point, you can try lots of different wines, experiment with what you love and the tastes that meet your palate, because my palate's different than your palate, Melo, or your palate, CJ. And you don't have to worry about the wine going bad. We're going on 14 years now with our oldest bottle that we've used our product on, and the wine still tastes as good today as it did 14 years ago. So it's a great way to try new things, to experiment. For 400 years, we've been drinking wine top to bottom. Pop the cork and drink it to the bottom. We believe wine should be consumed this way, meaning try lots of things, have a glass of this and a glass of that and a glass of that. And it allows you to experiment with what you love. It allows you to pair wine with your food. It allows CJ to drink white and his wife to drink red, if that's what they desire, or vice versa. And so it's a really cool, fun way to discover new wines and try new things. And when I have a dinner party, I put 30 bottles of wine out on the counter and a couple of Coravins and say, drink whatever you'd like. And it's a really fun way to host and entertain. And again, try those things that you love. And it's most important to try them and experience them for yourself. It
changed my life. I'm not just saying that because we're partners, but Coravin changed my life because I done wasted so many bottles of wine, of great wine, just opening it. I know I'm not going to drink the whole thing. So when Coravin comes around, you preserve that, right? I can have a glass, I can have 2 glasses and just, on to the next bottle. And I can come back a couple of days later or weeks later and still have that same wine. So it really changed my life because I wasted a lot of wine, man, through the course of my days. Just opening wine, leaving it. I'm the only one there drinking it, or somebody else might not like that wine. And I'm forced to either drink it or leave it or give it away. And with Coravin, man, they help preserve that. So I wanted to really, give a testimony to that.
Hey, Chris, my question to you is, you have a dinner party, you got 30 bottles of wine. How many Coravins do you have set out? Because you gotta rinse these. You can't just be putting the Coravin in multiple bottles.
You got 30 Coravins, man.
Just explain to the people who may do that and have a party.
Yeah.
There's some people that do 30 Coravins for sure.
I'll put 4 or 5 Coravins out, Charles, on the counter, and just let people drink what they'd like, and rinse them out or not. I'm not a purist. I don't rinse my glass out before I change wines, and I like to consume and partake with my friends, and but it's a really interesting way to discover and try. And I think your point earlier, people have to learn what they love, and that's really only done through experimentation and having fun with it, and trying different wines from different places. And the price point thing is super relevant. I've had some Spanish wines lately that are just, they're $30 bottles of wine, and they're phenomenal wines. And so it's not always the expensive is the best, and you've got to experiment and try and figure out what meets your needs, and what the weather's doing, and what you're eating, and what your palate really enjoys.
PJ, as I just got a question for you. I had a couple questions. As someone who, like, your career has taken you from like U.S. overseas and back again, right? Like, what place that you've played in your career that you say, okay, this is the best? Like, I believe this has the best wine.
Oh, well, I never played in France, so.
Only places you played at, though.
You know what? Germany.
Riesling.
All day.
Great wine. Yeah.
Man, listen, and to go there and being there and getting to try Rieslings that I never even heard of here. Like, there's so many Rieslings there that never make it, that you just don't hear of, that are phenomenal. Like, unbelievable. And to bring some back and have my wine friends here try them that love Riesling was amazing. So German Riesling is unbelievable.
What was your personal wine experience in the bubble, in the NBA bubble? And CJ, you can chime in too, because we had some great experience. But
wine made the bubble, man. Mello, bro. If I didn't have wine in that bubble, I wouldn't have made it. There's no way. Hey, Mello, I used to call Mello fellas like, yo, what you do? What you got? What you drinking tonight? Like, we used to like talk all the time. Like, it got us through, like, because those days, you gotta think, it's almost like that experience of like every day. It was like you knew exactly what you was doing every day. There was no surprises in your day. But I knew when I got back, I could take my shower, have my dinner, have my glass, man, and I knew I was good. So that was like that comfort zone. And I literally was just having cases sent in. The shippers they already knew what time it was. Take some boxes for me. Let me know when they get here.
CJ, chime in.
My experience was, as you know, was very unique because I was bringing my Pinot Noir to market. So it was basically the most authentic place. Basketball players, athletes, were very blunt and very honest with each other. So I was like, there's no better critic I can have than 300 of my peers in one setting to try my wine. They're forced to drink it because they're bored. They're in a bubble. They ain't got nothing else to do. So I'm like, I can have some guys that really enjoy wine try it and give me feedback. And it's not that I needed to hear them say it was good, because it's based on my preference. It's smooth. It's Oregon wine. I feel like most people would be able to adapt and adjust to it because it's just a smoother wine. But I was just genuinely curious in what people were going to, like, what Mello would think about my wine. A guy who doesn't really like Pinot when he first gets to the Blazers, to now, like, I'm drinking Pinot. He's like, yes, I want some. So that was a really cool experience for me. But then I got to see like what JJ was drinking, right? I got to see what Josh Hart was drinking. I got Joe Ingles, who's Australia. He's coming with Syrah. So I'm being able to try a lot of wines that I wouldn't normally go after. And to Chris and Mitch's point, I would do tastings and only drink reds for years. And I just finally started drinking Chardonnays, and then I put out a Chardonnay because I hadn't tried it. I was afraid of it. I was like, nah, this isn't good. My family didn't like it, so I didn't drink it. And now I'm trying to convince my brother, all Chardonnay isn't bad. You just haven't had one that suits you. So, like, let's find what suits you.
Right. I'm definitely looking for a Chardonnay that suits me. I'm going to be honest with you. It's hard to get me. Listen, it's hard to get me on the white side, man. It's very hard to get me. But when you get me, I'm there. I'm usually a white burgundy guy. I'll drink a nice white burgundy.
We got a Chardonnay for you. Don't even worry about
Yeah,
it.
first of all, I was expecting to have a package from you, Charles, when I woke up this morning.
So you do like Chardonnay, though?
Don't even worry about it. We got you.
I do.
I gotta try that too,
Yeah,
dog. I
Chardonnay
gotta try that
is
too, 'cause I'm not a big Chardonnay guy either. You gotta white is more Chablis, white
You
burgundy.
gotta trust me. You gotta trust me with a Chardonnay. You got to.
Chardonnay, oh.
PJ, I got a $45 price for Chardonnay that you will like.
Stand up for my Chard, man, and so I
Okay,
see.
see.
Hey, you let me know.
I'm ready. I'm ready when you're ready. Mitch, I'm gonna jump to you, Mitch. It was, first of all, I want to say it was working with you on in the Wine Spectator team on my make cover issue of Wine Spectator and just exploring kind of my story in the wine world and talking to you and brought up.
I saw you on the cover, bro.
Thank you. We talk about so much, Mitch, on that. And we talk about memories that date back decades, and you also brought up some amazing questions to me, but kind of we always that surprised, but I think you were surprised at my answers too and what that led to. So I know you have you have a few follow-ups for us from Wine Spectator audience, and if you want to dive into anything, go ahead. We want to hear from you.
Yeah, I will say, first of all, thank you for all the time you gave me during the story, especially with all the protocols going on right now. I will say from my own standpoint, what really drove me was trying to figure out, okay, what is it about? First of all, I think you have an incredible passion for wine. And obviously there are a lot of NBA players now who do. So what is it? And actually a former executive with the Warriors who now works in Napa, Travis Stanley, said to me, these are guys who work hard and focus on the details and really, practice. And if that means learning about something like wine, what do you find? What keeps you going to try new things? What drives your curiosity?
I think just being open-minded for me, right? Just not being so closed in and wanting to try different regions, right? A couple summers ago, I had a chance to go to Chattanooga Pop, right? And just being there and having that experience and, and being in Burgundy or Bordeaux before and Burgundy and understanding at a high level what winemaking really is about and just how much they put into the art of winemaking, should I say? We're talking about first gross, the big boys out there. But to go to Ron and CDP and just to see this small, intimate community and these, this small, area of grapes and everybody's just going to this, this area of LaCroix and just picking the best grapes and it's first come, first serve and just seeing how they really operate. For me, that really changed my whole perspective. Like, it's not just about Burgundy and Bordeaux. You have Oregon Pinot Noir, you have Napa. Another region that I'm really interested in is Chilean wine. I've been tasting Chilean wine over the past couple of weeks. I actually love it. Argentinian wine, South African wine. These are regions that I plan on touching and just having a little bit more experience. But for me, it's just a matter of just picking these little gems out. It's not about the price point for me. If the bottle would be $5. If I like it, I like it. I enjoy it, and I'm gonna have that experience.
Now, we had several readers who sent us this question, and actually, it was one that I had too. We know that in the past year, with everything going on, the wine industry is really trying to be inclusive and to make sure that all people feel welcome in the wine community. So I'd love to hear from any of you. What do you think, the wine industry and the community can do, to welcome all? Everybody can enjoy wine, and to make that clear that this is not a closed circle.
Well, I'll talk about just the importance of kind of inclusivity of the wine industry, right? And Charles, I especially want to hear from you because you've been actually on the ground and putting in the work, you know, as far as creating your own brand and your own wine, and you know, you in the fields and you picking the grapes and you seeing the whole process of what it takes to make wine. What is that? Where are we when it comes to inclusivity in the wine industry? Why is it that we can't we can't break those barriers? Why is it so hard for us to break those barriers in the wine industry? And do you see it changing? Right? Do you see that trajectory going up?
Yeah, I think we can. I just don't think we know.
Right.
I think that you know, like I talk about my own journey and where I come from, and not really, you know, I didn't know anything about wine. I didn't know anything about Napa Valley wine country. I didn't have a clue about that. I didn't come from that. I don't know where everybody else came from. I didn't come from that, right? So again, when we talk about, you know, being intimidated by certain things, you know, you don't get into it because you're like, that's not for us. You know, that's not what we do. So I think, you know, for me, I think is, you know, when I started bringing it into the locker room, and guys started to see, you know, look and say, wow, you know, here's a NFL player. I sit next to him at a locker or in meetings, and this dude actually has his own wine label. Like, whoa, you know what I'm saying? What is that all about? So, you know, I remember, you know, kind of stemming from my time in Green Bay, I had a couple of linemen who ended up starting their own wine label. Now you talk about my good buddy Will Blackman, who, you know, we drank wine together in Green Bay, and now he's gone on to do great things in the industry with his wine MVP, and you know, he's, you know, becoming the sommelier and the whole nine. So I think it's all about really showing people and being out front and actually talking about it. And then having your own, like I did, you know, people start saying, man, well, maybe I can do this too. And then I think it's about, you know, kind of exploring a little bit and knowing who's out there. And then when I also look at my partners, O'Neill Vintners, who now have scholarships for young African Americans and indigenous people, you know, to get scholarships to college. Now you're starting to bring young people into the industry and allowing them to learn about wine and the wine business and being inclusive. And that's what it's all about. But you got to introduce it, and you got to let them know it's for us as well. And it's not just only for a small community. It's for everybody if you want to be involved.
What are some of the, I would say, like, challenges that you faced, you know, trying to create a wine label while still, like, because you was creating it and still performing at the highest level on the field too. And CJ, you could chime into this as well, because you have your own as well, and you still playing. What are some of the challenges though?
I think probably the biggest challenge is, you know, you look at Chris, behind Chris, you have, you know, Intercept and a few other, you know, labels. You got CJ's wine, I believe, back there. PJ mentioned 2 different wines that he has and what else he likes to drink. You mentioned all the wines that you like and everywhere you've been. Think about all the different labels out there. Think about all the competition, right, that you have as a vintner to try to get into that space. And, you know, when you're out there and you're trying to promote your brand, like, you got to really actively be out there promoting your brand. Otherwise, people will push you to the side and they'll move on to the next thing. And I think that was the hardest thing, because, you know, we had a very small team, and it was really, you know, about me. You know, people wanted me to be there, but I couldn't be, of course, everywhere at once, so I couldn't touch everybody. And it was hard to maintain. And you know, I did as well as I could for as long as I could before I met my current partners in O'Neill Vintners, to where, you know, I really had to reach where I could really be in certain places at other times at the same time, without me actually having to be there, because I have a team and I have their reach. So I think, man, just trying to get out there and stake your place in the wine world and stake your place amongst shelves, whether it's retail, whether it's on premise, whether it's direct to consumer. That was the most challenging, you know, thing of all, man. I think CJ would probably say the same thing, but you can expound upon that about the other challenges you might have.
Yeah, Charles, you bring up some great points. I think for me, my situation is unique, in which I tried to put out a wine and then COVID happened. So all the things I planned originally had to be scratched. I had a black tie affair planned. I had an event I was going to do for charity to kind of spread information and knowledge on wine business in general and how more minorities and people of color should be involved. I had to basically scratch all of that. Then I had to go hoop in the bubble. Like in the middle of my wine release, literally my wine was releasing in September. I'm hooping in the bubble in July. So that kind of shifted things to where everything was electronic. I'm doing Zoom tastings. I literally did my rosé. I tasted it at the house with my wife. We sat down and kind of went through, everything. And then I would send my feedback and notes, and then I would call and have to go through it, as opposed to being able to be on the vineyard because everything was shut down. So that made the situation hard. And I think the second part was convincing people that like I'm serious about it. It's one thing for it to be a hobby. Mm-hmm. It's another thing for you to truly enjoy it and want to learn about the business aspect of it. And anybody that knows me personally knows I won't put my name on anything unless I'm 100% behind it, unless I'm 100% involved with the process. And hooping full time, and as you playing football full time, it's hard to be 100% a part of the process. So I'm thankful for my partnership with Adelsheim, to where they were very accommodating to my needs. They knew first I needed education. Like I put out Pinot first because I knew about Pinot. They asked me about other wines, and I said, I'm not comfortable vouching for these wines because I don't truly like them. So I needed time from 2016 to 2020 to learn about Chardonnays I like, which I'm going to introduce Carmelo and PJ to. And then I had to learn about the Blanc de Blancs and how it takes minimum 3 years and all that stuff that you don't generally know about as a casual wine drinker. So that was the hard part for me personally, attaching my name to something, but wanting to make sure that I'm comfortable with the product and a part of the process. But it is a tough business, but I'm thankful I've been able to learn about it, because the money aside, the education you learn and what you're able to kind of pass down, and the ability to break bread with friends is something that you can't put a price on. Like, especially when you have those moments like Melo's 10-year anniversary, being top 10. Like, those are moments that you want to share certain wines. When you
didn't share your wine with me, bro. I'm just like,
which brings me to my next point. I got a wine for you, and we got one road trip left, and then we got the playoffs, but we got a break. If we do what we're supposed to do, we got a break from May 16th to the 22nd. So I got the Celaya, I got the Chateau Margaux 85, and I think I got a 99. And we can figure out which one you're going to get, because you can't get both.
I'll shoot you a text offline. We'll talk about that offline.
Now, I wanted to ask, Charles, when he was starting his brand, the NFL was not supportive. I think I'm putting gently, of this idea. But CJ, has the NBA been supportive, or they're just, they don't care, or, what is it like when you got, you've got people who are like, oh, this is our brand, and you're, they're trying to protect it. Was the NBA supportive of this?
I got friends in high places, so this has been it's been a smoother transition based on where we're at now as a collective. And I think that the state of the NBA, like what we were going through at the time when I was trying to put a wine out, they kind of had to support it. It wasn't a good time to kind of go against a kid who comes from the inner city, who's trying to do things the right way, who's trying to, spread his wings outside of the basketball world. And I had a tough situation. I had 100 of my bottles shipped to the bubble to distribute to 3 other hotels, and I wasn't allowed to go to any other hotels. So I made a deal with the NBA to where I had NBA employees transfer my wine to the other hotels, because they had quarantined ahead of time before we got there. We had to stay in our rooms for 2 weeks. But I knew guys like PJ, CP, a lot of guys would enjoy wine but couldn't leave. So I brokered some bottles to some friends, made sure that they was able to get their bottles, and they basically took bottles to the Floridian and the other hotel and dropped them off for everybody.
So you did a deal with the NBA. Basically what you say, you did a deal with the NBA. An inside deal with the NBA.
Inside deal.
Hey, man.
Wow.
You got to do what you got to do.
Hey, Charles.
But to that,
Charles?
Go ahead, PJ. Go ahead.
No. I want to know what you went through with the NFL when you started it. I'm not educated.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, so they sent me a letter, man. When I first started, like, hey, you got to cease and desist.
Wow.
What?
Promoting any alcohol beverage. And, I was kind of like, whoa. I was like, you know, this is not like an endorsement deal. You know, this is my business. Like, this is what I put my time, money into. So, you know, I kind of, you know, played a back seat, sort of. You know, I kind of did my thing, but I didn't overly promote what I was doing. And you know, it's funny because I would do these little events, and you know, there would be media there, and you know, and I would tell these reporters, I say, hey, now listen, I'll talk to you guys about my event. You know, we're kind of doing some charity stuff. I'm not here to talk about the wine because I didn't want it out there, right? And then the next thing you know, in the article you'd read, yeah, we went to an event for Charles Woodson. He can't talk about his wine.
Oh my God.
This is what the event was about. And I was like,
oh man. No, man. Come on, man.
I'm like, dude, it's the very thing I told you not to say. And that's the headline of your story. So it took a little while. And I think once, you know, Goodell, you know, I had a conversation with him one time when I was in Green Bay, and we actually had a conversation about wine, and he didn't say, hey, you can't do that. It was more of okay, you know, let me know what you're doing, you know, how maybe we can help. And then at that point it was like things have kind of eased up a little bit. So, but early on, man, mid 2000, they was like,
that's crazy. Yeah. Like they sell. I mean. They sell beer every stadium. Man, you can't watch a Bud Light commercial everywhere. So we can take their money and they can, you know, a part of the NFL. But as a player, I can't own my own wine. Like that's to me, that's insane.
Not just as a player, you're Charles Woodson. Like you ain't just like any guy coming out with wine. Like you're Charles Woodson.
Future Hall of Fame member Charles Woodson.
Yeah, like I mean, it's done. So like, I'm just CJ McCollum, like out here hooping. Like I don't know what's gonna happen when I'm doing, and they let me do it. That's crazy. That's crazy. Like that.
Yeah.
So Charles. So when did they?
That, man, but it ended up working out.
But when did they? Okay, so when did they give you their support? When did the NFL give you their support? Like, okay, Charles, we gonna support you. Or did that ever happen?
Yeah, I don't think it was really like an open support, you know, while I was playing. But like I said, you know, when I had that conversation with Goodell, what was funny is I was standing with Roger Goodell and I believe our president, you know, Mark Murphy. So, you know, I had people on the team know I had wine, they had drank my wine and whatnot. And so we're standing there with Goodell and Mark's like, yeah, you know, you should try Charles's wine. And I kind of froze like, oh, I don't think he was supposed to say that, man. I ain't supposed to have a wine. And that's when I say, you know, Roger Goodell was like, oh, yeah, you know, I'd love to try it. And the conversation ended. And I kind of walked away from it all like, man, I'm going to hear from these guys, man. They're going to shut me down. But they never did. And I ended up, you know, sending Roger some wine. And then he ended up, you know, purchasing some wine. But I think, you know, now that I'm out of the game, I think now the support because I'm out of the game. And, you know, this is my business. So, you know, I'm trying to get into, you know, different stadiums around the league. So now this is when the real support happens, when I can get my wine into the stadiums.
So it was worth it. The lack of support was worth it.
It was worth it, man. It was a grind, but you know what? When you love it, you know, and you're passionate about it, like all of you guys are, man, you stick with it. Good things will happen eventually.
No, I think it's definitely testimony to your dedication. I think, you know, I was going to ask both you and CJ also, do you find, I mean, CJ, you talked about you're not going to do this without immersing yourself fully in it. You know, and Charles, obviously you've dedicated huge amounts of time. Do you find that people sometimes when you're out there marketing are dismissive, saying, oh, you know, you're a celebrity with another celebrity with a wine brand, that don't get your passion for it? And how do you change that attitude?
Yeah, you certainly, you know, it kind of depends, right? Because you'll meet some people who know who you are, you know, they're very receptive to try it. You know what I mean? Because I'll say this, you know, your name will get you in the door, but the juice and your love for it, that'll keep you in there.
Facts.
But what you'll always, what you'll get from a lot of people is they'll taste it, and then they'll look at you and they'll say, "Oh man, I didn't really expect it to be any good." You know what I'm saying? And so then it's like, all right, as long as you didn't spit it out, I'm fine. I'm fine. You know what I'm saying? But that's kind of the way it's been throughout. And I think now I have the respect. So you don't necessarily go into those situations where people don't know that you have your wine and know that now that we're nationally distributed, they have the respect going in, and then you're able to taste it, talk about it. Me talking about my own wine and what I like about it, and me and my winemaker, what we sat down, what we, kind of was looking for in taste profile and, balanced and tannin and all that certain stuff. So it's been a long journey to get to that point. But now, I have the respect in the industry. And like I said before, but you still got to stay active in it. Once you get it out there, it ain't over. You're always working, man. It's a constant, it's a constant, grind to go out there, man, each and every day, man, and promote the thing that has your name on it.
Yeah, I got the same feedback. Like, it's actually good. I'm like, I feel disrespected. I'm like, wait a minute. So you expected this to be trash. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's funny you have that balance of Melo. Melo said the same thing. When Melo first tasted the wine, he said, it's actually good.
CJ, I was going to ask you that too. I was like, what did Melo say?
It's actually
with Melo when he first tried it. You know how Melo is. Like,
I looked at him too, because how somebody tried to sip and look away.
I didn't know. No. I didn't say it's actually good.
He said I think he said this tastes how I thought it was going to taste, but I know what type of wines you like.
Okay.
That's funny.
But you was surprised, 100%. He was surprised.
Hey, what'd you say, CJ? You kept that eye contact.
By the way, CJ, I drank.
How you wait and you're like, I don't know what he gonna say. But
Exactly.
I'm ready.
Exactly.
I'm ready.
Let's get that right, CJ. Let's get that right.
Hey, CJ, but it's crazy though, because even when you gave the wines in the bubble, like the 300 players, like I took it and went straight to like the little crew we had, like the trainers, everybody. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, yo, I would share with them, and we would have days. It was like, yo,
you talk about you said something earlier.
You hear me?
You froze for a second. Say it again.
I said I would take the wine, so we would have like little groups, and I would take like to the trainers, our team doctor. You know what I'm saying? So they all got a chance to experience the wine too. So the reach was further. It was guys that loved it. Like when our team doctors loved it.
Let me look.
I appreciate that. Mel, your Wi-Fi bad. Hold on, Mel.
Go. Melo, we can't hear nothing you say, Melo.
Hold up. We're on our own, unsupervised.
Unsupervised. No host.
Mm-hmm.
We on our own. I think I'm about to go in with the all great things, though.
I gotta
see,
try
CJ.
that.
See, I didn't say this is
CJ, I'm on
good.
to this now, so it's solid. It's good.
Nice.
It's great.
I'm excited about the
Can you hear me
rosé
now?
too. Yep.
We can hear you, Mel.
Oh,
Oh man, that thing works like a charm, baby.
Look at that.
Like that.
And Charles, with this one, you can pour it one-handed. You don't need the other hand for the trigger.
Yeah, that's what I like. That's what I like.
CJ, I need that rosé, man. I gotta try that. I'm a big rosé guy, man.
CJ, is it a Pinot Noir rosé? Oregon Pinot? Cool.
Yeah, the Oregon Pinot Noir rosé, and we put it out last month.
you can hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. I got you, PJ. I got some in my
you
library
guys-
allotment. I sold out, but I got some in my library allotment. I'll send you. I'll make sure I get you some, Charles, and I'll get everybody some. And I want to support, so I'll buy some. That I need some of that Intercept. I'm gonna buy some.
We got it, man. We'll all get each other's information, man, and we'll make them deliveries.
Perfect. And you coming to my hometown, so I gotta make sure I get some for moms.
Got to.
Yeah, you unfroze, Mello. It looks like you're in a good spot now.
I'm good. I'm good now. But CJ, what I was saying was, I didn't never say your wine is actually good. I didn't never said that. I never said that. So let's clear that up.
PJ, how's that DRC? Is it good?
It's on fire. It's really good. I just looked at my boy and was like, oh, I didn't know if it was gonna be. It's on fire.
What year is it?
It is a 2004. Nope, I opened 07 first.
Mm.
I just got it. I just opened it 04 after that. So
Nice.
I did Eshuzo and then the Grand Eshuzo 04.
Nice. Well, if you don't finish it all, you need some help.
I know. I miss my boy. I miss Mello, man. Hey, listen, when me and Mello was together, them plane rides. If you guys know, if y'all only knew these plane rides, Mel get on with his suitcase. I got mine. We playing cards. I mean, and we just opening bottles. Like y'all, nobody ever understand those plane rides. You look forward to that, and that's stuff you miss. Like I know Charles, you probably know too. Like that camaraderie, having other guys that love wine, and had those times y'all together and be able to share that wine. It's unbelievable. Like now, I don't have nobody really loves wine on our team, so it's a little different. I'm a little lonely, but it's cool though because you get some guys that want to try every once in a while. That all an experience of your wine, your life.
Giannis isn't bringing any Greek wine on the plane.
Nah. Giannis got no Greek wine, man. No Greek wine.
Am I better now? Am I better?
Yes.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, you're good.
It's Oregon, man. It's
Much better.
It's Oregon. Look, it's raining. It's pouring out here. That's bad for the grapes, man. It's bad for the grapes out here.
I was going to say that.
CJ, before we wrap up, you mentioned something about, you say charity, right? Let's talk about the what is it called, the 1 barrel challenge that you're actually involved in. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you bringing that up. So basically, 7 wineries out here in the Willamette Valley throughout Oregon partnered up together to basically put together 1 barrel of wine, which all goes to a charity. 100% of the proceeds goes to the Maurice Lucas Foundation, which is obviously, may he rest in peace, a huge part of the Oregon community who's continuing to do things in terms of raising awareness, helping the underserved community. And we're just trying to make wine more inclusive. Charles talked about it. We all grew up in unique circumstances and situations in which wine wasn't prevalent in our households. Like gin and juice, all of that stuff is very prevalent. But we're just trying to figure out ways to make this more acceptable to our neighborhoods and to our communities, and figuring out ways to spread awareness so that we can make this wine business continue to grow and continue to diversify it. And I think that the more people from different walks of life that are involved, the better the product will be overall. So I'm excited about it. We released a Chardonnay. We sold it out in 6 minutes. Humble brag. Wow. Humble brag there, bro. I'm excited. It was a limited quantity. I'm excited about it. And I pulled some from the stash. I bought like a half a case. And I'm really excited just about how the money goes to the proceeds, how we're going to continue to build and expand upon this, and how we can kind of bring in other vineyards, bring in other minority business owners, people from other walks of life who are trying to just introduce people to this field, because people aren't exposed to this, so that they don't know about it, and then they're afraid of it. So I think that's the main goal behind all of this. It's not about money. It's about giving opportunities to people who wouldn't normally get opportunities, and then the proper exposure to this walk of life. So I'm really excited about it and thankful.
So is there a bid that I can put in for the barrel, or what?
Actually, while we're here, it's ironic that you asked me that.
Yeah, right.
Actually, and I didn't even plan this, but I'm glad you brought it up. I actually have 9 cases left that has a bottle of each, and all the proceeds obviously go to charity. It's $400 for 7 bottles, and you'll get like a Pinot, a Rosé, a Chardonnay. PJ.
Sign me up for one.
I'll send you the link. You'll get it.
I'll take one too, CJ.
Send us the link, CJ. Send us the link.
That's 4 sales, Mitch.
You gotta go to, hey, that's Wine Spectator, man. You gotta go to Wine
I gotta check with my boss, CJ, whether I can expense that.
And the great part is it's a charitable contribution. You get a tax benefit.
Tell Marvin Come on, Marvin. Let's make this happen. So
Let's see what we can do.
Mel,
We certainly love. We
put us in
certainly
the
love.
group chat. I'll send a link via email. I don't even need your personal lines. I know that we all got personal situations. I'll send an email. You can send me a business email. I can DM you it, whatever you need. I'm here for you.
We appreciate that, CJ. Chris, before we wrap, I you guys was a major part in kind of getting this athlete edition of What's in Your Glass together. So I want to say thank you, but I want to let you talk about what's Coravin overall mission, so people can understand exactly what Coravin is and the mission behind it, and also how that's translating into how people are having their own experiences with wine today.
Yeah, thanks, Mel. I think it goes perfectly in line with everything we've been talking about. Our ultimate goal is to make wine more accessible to people, whether it's being able to drink more wine by the glass, or try wines so that you can preserve them for the long term. We're about creating democracy and inclusivity and openness in the world of wine by leveling the playing field. And it's not about price. It's not about disposable income. It's about being able to try the wines that you love. We started out with still wine. We just launched another new product called Pivot, which is back here in the corner. That's $99. So, very approachable for people who are interested in starting their wine journey at a great price point. And then later on this summer, we actually unveil a revolutionary new product. And my team's cringing as I'm about to say this, Mello, but
I know they are.
We're going to take on the world of champagne and sparkling wine from a preservation standpoint as well. So, really cool device. Our team's been working on it for a couple of years now. We're getting a couple of weeks of preservation on a bottle after it's been opened. And again, just trying to build the tools to give the wine consumer, the restaurateur, the winemaker, new ways to grow their business, and new ways for consumers to expand their palates. And ultimately, if people drink more wine, we all win, right? Everybody, Charles's business goes up, CJ's business goes up. People are trying new things, and that's what we're all about. So we're really excited for you to have us, and I'm really appreciative to be a part of this esteemed group. And it's not every day you get to hang out and drink wine with top 10 scorer in the NBA and a guy that's about to enter the NFL Hall of Fame. So thanks for the opportunity. We really appreciate it.
Melo done went to freezing up again.
No, of course. And also, guys, man, I just want to, we will wrap up here. I just want to say thank you, man, for just still freezing. Am I freezing or this is better?
This is better.
That's better.
When you walk around,
You're mobile. If you just keep moving the whole time, it'll be fine.
It's not a move, bro.
This is my day off today. No, I just wanted to say what I was saying was, man, I just want to say, guys, thank you for joining me today, and Chris and the Coravin team, and Mitch and the team at Wine Spectator. We also gifting everybody a bottle of Fantasca's All Great Things on the 2011 of a Cabernet Sauvignon blend. It's actually a good friend of mine, D. Lynn Proctor's label. He sent it over, so big shout out to D. Lynn. Those who don't know, he's a expert sommelier, good friend, and has been an integral part in my relationship with Coravin in the wine world. So, as a special thank you to everybody who joined us today, I'm also excited to share kind of we bring it back. What's in Your Glass podcast coming soon as a podcast. So I'll be working with Cadence 13, who's the best in the class and in the podcast space, to just bring you more episodes to all podcast platforms, and continue on YouTube this summer. So, and lastly, I want to thank all the guys again for joining me tonight, man. PJ, Mitch, Chris, CJ, Charles. I appreciate you guys. I know this was kind of last minute and in the thick of the season, but I want to say thank you guys again, man. And we hope you guys been drinking some good wines. You will continue to drink some good wines and enjoying good conversation about wine as we continue to prosper and move forward. So I want to say thank you guys. And I'm gonna leave it on this. PJ, give me my damn sneakers back. Like what? Give me my sneakers back, bro.
Nah, listen. Yo, I can't believe you too, because he looked me in my face and said, he said, you can't, like, no, I got one pair. You can't have them. I said, Mel, I'm gonna find them shoes.
Is this the soccer team? This is the soccer team shoe?
Puerto Rican national.
Yes. I told him, I said, I'm gonna find these shoes. This was 2 years ago.
Them joints is cold.
It's not. First of all, it's not about you. It's not about you having them. It's about where you get them from. That's the.
Hey, that's the problem.
Nah, man. I just want to say thank y'all again, man. I appreciate y'all definitely, man. I'm glad we can pull this off. Big shout out to Wine Spectator and Coravin again. Chris, I look forward to what's to come with us. Opportunities. Can't wait. So. Thank you guys, man. I appreciate you guys. Charles, I'm waiting on the package. I'm sending my address. CJ, I need the 7-pack, 6-pack. I need that. You know what I'm saying?
I'll send you the link, man. I'll send you the link.
All right.
Hello, thank you.
Seeing everybody again in a different setting. I'm gonna get my permission slip signed for Bordeaux. I'm signing this up for Bordeaux.
Appreciate
Hey, Mello,
Mello, thank
congratulations
you
again.
for organizing all this.
Absolutely.
It was
Thank you,
wonderful to be a part of it.
Charles, good to meet you, my man, for sure.
Congratulations, Charles. I'll see you in Canada.
Congrats, Mello.
See you in
All right, man. Peace, man. Thank you.
All right, baby. Cheers.
Peace.
Sorry, I panicked and I just grabbed one.
Who's that talking? Who's the host?